Hi, welcome to Enoch Pratt Free Library's Current Events Quiz for Kids. I'm your host, Paula Willey. Every Tuesday at my library, the Southeast Anchor Branch, we make a current events quiz for kids and give a prize to everyone who tries it. Your prize for trying this quiz will be pride and a job well done, and the chance to impress people with your news knowledge. We'll have 5 multiple choice questions, each one with a hint. Listen, there's no such thing as cheating when it comes to being well informed. You can ask a friend, you can pause the video and Google the question, or you can just hang in there till the end when we tell you the answers. Any of those makes you a winner. Let's get to it. Question 1. The mayor of Washington, D.C. had this slogan painted on the street leading to the White House. Was it, "Your journey starts here"? "America runs on Duncan"? "Black Lives Matter"? Or was it, "Reading is fundamental"? Question 2. Ella Jones of Ferguson, Missouri just became the first woman and the first African American to do what? Was she the first to run the Ferguson Library, run the Ferguson Marathon, be elected mayor of Ferguson, or be voted Ferguson's best smile? Question 3. The crew of the Dragon went somewhere last week. What is the Dragon and where did they go? Is the Dragon a duck boat that went to Fells Point? Is the Dragon a spaceship that went to the International Space Station? Is the Dragon an airplane that went to Pokemon World? Or is the Dragon a flying school bus that went to Walkerville Elementary School? Question 4. The COVID-19 epidemic seems to have caused a measurable improvement in what? In air quality, in home cooking, in mental health, or in your math grades? I've got a hint for you. What do you see and what don't you see in this picture? Question 5. The popular K-pop band BTS donated $1 million to Black Lives Matter. In response, their fans, known as the BTS Army, did what? Did they raise another $1 million? Did they do a Fire 333? Did they dye their hair purple? Or did they experience the Jimin effect? 5 questions. Do you know the answer? Answer 1. The mayor of Washington, D.C. had this slogan painted on the street leading to the White House. Staff from the Washington, D.C. Department of Public Works came out at 3:30 in the morning to paint Black Lives Matter curb to curb, supporting people protesting violence against Black people in our nation's capital. Mayor Muriel Bowser also renamed that stretch of street Black Lives Matter Plaza. The mayor's chief of staff, John Falcicchio, tweeted, quote, "There was a dispute this week about whose street this is. Mayor Bowser wanted to make it abundantly clear that this is DC's street." Google Maps and Apple Maps have already made this change. And this is how it looks from a Planet Labs satellite. That is how it looks from space. Question 2. Ella Jones of Ferguson, Missouri just became the first woman and the first African American to be elected mayor of Ferguson. Ms. Jones was elected mayor of Ferguson on Tuesday, nearly 6 years after the city erupted in protests. She is a chemist, a pastor, and a community organizer, and was also the first Black woman elected to Ferguson City Council in 2015. Question 3. The crew of the Dragon went somewhere last week. What is the Dragon and where did they go? The Dragon is a spaceship, and it went to the International Space Station.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon
The SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket with the Crew Dragon carried astronauts Douglas Hurley and Robert Behnken on the Demo 2 mission to the International Space Station. This marks the first launch of astronauts from U.S. soil since the conclusion of the Space Shuttle program in 2011. Dragon docked successfully with the International Space Station about 19 hours after reaching orbit. It arrived at the station's Harmony port while both were about 262 miles above the border of China and Mongolia. Question 4. The COVID-19 epidemic seems to have caused a measurable improvement in air quality. According to a report in the journal Nature Climate Change, daily emissions of carbon dioxide, which is produced when fossil fuels like gas or oil are burned, decreased by 17% by early April 2020 compared with 2019 levels. The researchers who wrote this report link this to decreased use of transportation due to government policies put in place to protect people from the spread of coronavirus. You can learn more about CO2 emissions and lots more science stuff on the website sciencenewsforstudents.org. Last question. The popular K-pop band BTS donated $1 million to Black Lives Matter. In response, BTS fans who called themselves the BTS Army raised more than $1 million for Black Lives Matter, the Movement for Black Lives, and more than a dozen other civil rights and advocacy organizations. The fundraising push began on June 1 as outrage spread over the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Donations accelerated after it was reported that BTS and its record label had made a $1 million donation to Black Lives Matter. The group also said people should vote in local and state elections and call on politicians to fight racism. Quote, "We encourage BTS Army to continue educating themselves on the history of anti-Black racism in the United States as well as anti-Black racism that occurs in your own country," the group said. By the way, in case you're not up on your BTS memes, here's a little reminder. Fire 333 is the dance move that happens 3 minutes and 33 seconds into the video for the song Fire. Can you do that? I can't do that. I Purple You is a phrase that V uses to express his love for the fans of BTS Army. And Urban Dictionary defines the Jimin effect as a short circuit that happens in the wiring of the brain when one first experiences a visual encounter with BTS's Park Jimin. It is true, that is one attractive young man. That's our quiz. Thank you for playing. Tune in next week for another edition of What Happened This Week.